An important part of many of these anniversary dinner celebrations we've held over the last 30 years has been the bestowing of our Faith and Freedom Award, which we announced for the first time in the year 2000. And since then, we've given 10 awards. And they've gone to some of the most outstanding examples of the defense of faith and freedom that one can imagine, including people we've talked about tonight, such as Margaret Thatcher,
Francis Xavier Nguyen Van Thuan, who we mentioned was in a communist prison camp in Vietnam,
and Justice Scalia, who we mentioned earlier tonight. Tonight, we're pleased and proud to give it to another very worthy recipient.
When you live in a communist country, surrounded by all the lies, you know, how horrible, how hellish the outside world is, you're scared about the outside world. We were unfortunate because our family was rich. So naturally, when you're rich, you become the enemy. I knew that the adults were sent to labor camp, you know. For instance, my mother only came back during weekends to take care of us. After weekends, she had to go back to labor camp. I was maybe 4. I didn't know what was going on. We just had to survive, struggle as a kid. When I was 8 and 9, I worked in the railway station. Working in the railway station gave me the privilege to access people who come from outside. One day I was carrying the baggage for a guy. After he gave me some tips, he fell into his pocket and gave me a bar of chocolate. And I was so hungry, you know. I turned and I bite. And it was so tasteful. It was amazing. So I turned and I asked him, I said, what's this? It's chocolate. I said, where are you from? He said, Hong Kong. I said, Hong Kong must be heaven because I never taste anything like that. I said to myself, I want to leave this place. I want to go to Hong Kong. I want to go to the outside world. The outside world definitely is much better. I start to pester my mother about allowing me to go, to Hong Kong. She always said that, you know that going to Hong Kong is like you going to the moon, because I would never see you again. She was very reluctant to allow me to go to Hong Kong, but finally I did, and when I was 12 and a half. I was put in the bottom of a fishing trunk, and at that time, when you arrive in Hong Kong, you touch base, you're legalized. And the same night, I was taken to a factory to work as an object worker. In the morning, I smell a lot of food that I never smelled, the great aroma of food. And the manager gave me $10. That was a lot of money at that time, and I was very happy, as if I arrived in heaven. It was a very happy time. It was a time that I know I had a future. I know I was chosen.
As the years passed, Jimmy proved himself to be a successful businessman, owning and operating a multi-billion-dollar clothing retail chain called Giordano. Jimmy had successfully left communist China behind, but that changed on June 4th, 1989.
When I first noticed what happened in Tiananmen, I was very moved. I'd always tried to run away from China since the time that I escaped from it. Anything China represents is something that I want to forget, because it's something becoming very disgusting for me. The more I learn about the free world outside, all of a sudden, it's like my mother was calling in the darkness of the light. And my heart opened up.
Jimmy became an activist, using his resources to try and push China towards liberty and freedom. In an effort to shut him down, however, Chinese officials forced him to sell his successful clothing company, Giordano. Undeterred, Jimmy continued to write letters and fund protests, but decided the best way to free the people of China was through information and the media. So he started a newspaper company called Apple Daily.
I need a business to motivate me, because it's not just a business to make money, but it's a business that I can have a satisfaction of doing something meaningful. In the media business, you deliver information, then you deliver choice, and choice is freedom. I was thrilled by the idea that I can be part of the institution that is delivering freedom. I thought China, after the June 4th massacre, will be open up to the world and to freedom for its people. It hasn't yet. But not that we don't have to persist. We have to persist, and I'm positive that the day is getting closer and closer. I'm waiting for our media business to go to China one day. I hope I'm not too old to do so.
There's been widespread international condemnation of China following a parliamentary vote to impose new national security laws on Hong Kong.
The new law is expected to deter anything that smacks of criticism of China. Protests, speeches, media coverage, things that fueled months of protests last year.
We do want to begin in Hong Kong, where the new national security law has just swept up one of that city's most high-profile critics of Chinese rule. We're talking about media mogul and pro-democracy activist Jimmy Lai. He was arrested this morning at his newspaper office. This was after officers raided the pro-democracy newspaper that he runs. Lai is a prominent critic of the Chinese Communist Party and a backer of the pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong.
Lai says his most emotional moment this week was when he was surrounded by supporters after he was freed on bail. During his 40-hour detention, police showed him interviews he did with foreign media as evidence of suspected collusion with foreign forces, a new offence that could put him in jail for life.
I'm 72. I came here without anything. Anything I have is this place. This place is freedom gave me. I owe freedom my life. If I can give myself back to freedom, that will be the greatest redemption of my life.
Jimmy, the Acton Institute tonight is honored to present to you the Faith and Freedom Award. We recognize you for the inspirational witness to liberty that you have given to countless millions around the world. We recognize you for your fortitude in the face of unimaginable odds, and we stand with you and in humble solidarity as you continue the fight for liberty. Presented this day by unanimous acclamation of the Acton Institute's Board of Directors, November 18th, 2020. Congratulations, Jimmy.
Thank you. Thank you for the honor, Father Circle. This honor will obligate me to do my utmost for Hong Kong in the fight of our rule of law and freedom. I'm very grateful to Hong Kong, which has made me what I am today. I came here with $1, and the freedom here has given me the opportunity to build up myself. And the value that is underlying this freedom is so precious, and that's what exactly we are fighting for in Hong Kong now. I thank Frederick Hyatt for his inspiration for me to determine to fight for freedom in my life. And because I have to fight for freedom. I'm very happy that I have the faith to support it. Because freedom has a price. You may have to go through some hardships. You may lose heart. But with the grace of God, with Him sharing my suffering, I know that I can only become a better person. And I'm free from all those burdens or anxiety. I'm very thankful to be a Catholic. It is always in my mind as a Catholic that God is always my center. And I am always a sinner. And my life is not about myself. If I can accomplish this, I know that I'm living in the grace of God. I know that I will be a better person. Whatever suffer, I have to take it out. Thank you so much, Father of Circle. Thank you so much, Acton Institute. I'm very honored by this award. And I hope I will be able to measure up to it in my future devotion in the fight for the rule of law and freedom. Thank you again.
When you see a man like this who is looking at a potential jail sentence in a Chinese cell, it prompts in us a certain inspiration, but also an awareness that socialism is resilient. The collectivist idea, the idea of dominating other people, politics is the solution to our problems, power tending to corrupt. These are challenges that we are facing in our day and age. You know, Lord Acton, in addition to the famous quote we've alluded to tonight, said that liberty is the delicate fruit of a mature civilization. And I want to say to you that there is reason for hope. And here's the reason. What we're talking about is the truth. And the truth will always bury its undertakers.